Hey everybody, welcome to week six. Week six. All right, we got one full week, we've got two full weeks, and then we've got that little half week, week 7.5. We'll have more to say about that next week. You don't need to worry about that. But the nice thing is that you're almost done. You're almost at the end, which is exciting. I know for many of you, this is the first time you've been in college or any schooling since high school. And so this is an impressive feat getting to this place. And so be proud of yourself. If you've gotten here, you've definitely pushed yourself. If you've gotten here, you've gone through a lot to get here. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So be proud of what you've accomplished. So what are we going to be talking about this week? Well, we're going to take a little bit of a break from Microsoft Office. Remember, we've done OneDrive and Outlook and Word and Excel, lots of really interesting things. We're going to talk about PowerPoint next week. We're going to take a little bit of a break and we're going to talk about web browsers, okay? So these are the things you use to get onto the web, right? Well, that's going to require us to first talk a little bit about what the web is, okay? There's a difference between the internet and the web. Just like there was a difference between hardware and software, right? We remember the hardware. This is all the tangible stuff, right? The computer camera that I'm looking at, or my laptop keyboard, or things like this. And then the software. These are the programs that get the hardware to work, or these are the programs that work on the hardware, right? So you have these different things, but they're tied together. They're necessary. You can see that similarly in what the internet is and what the web is. So the internet is basically all of the tangible stuff, all of the hardware, all of the equipment that allows for the web, the World Wide Web, to kind of sit on it and function on it. And so the lecture goes to great length talking about kind of what the internet is. And I'll probably, if I have time, I'll try to do another video strictly about that. Kind of what is the internet? What is the web? And kind of what are the different areas in the web itself? These are huge, huge issues, but very interesting ones. Browsers, web browsers, this is the software we use to access the web. It's a web browser, browses the web, right? But there's a lot that goes into that, okay? We often just think of it as some sort of like magical doorway, right? Kind of like the wardrobe in the Chronicles of Narnia or something, right? You enter in and boom, you're in something new. That's not really what web browsers do. So we're thinking of things like Microsoft Edge. We're thinking of Mozilla Firefox. We're thinking of Google Chrome or Apple's Safari or Brave or Opera or, there's a whole bunch of different ones. What they're going to do first and foremost is they're going to request permission from a server for you to be able to access that web page. So when you go on Facebook or when you go on YouTube or something like that, you're actually accessing a different server in probably a very, very different area of the country or the world or who knows, right? Your browser does it without you even realizing it. The other thing it does is it translates what you see. Everything on the internet is code. It's bits of data, right? And at its most basic, it's ones and zeros. But we usually see web pages as markup language. This is coding. So you might have heard things like HTML or XML, extensible markup language. And websites are coded up like this. And you don't realize that because it's translated by your browser almost immediately. And that's what gives us all of the interesting GIFs and all of the photos and all of the wonderful videos of, cats tripping on the stairs, right? All that kind of stuff. So web browsers do those things, very necessary things. But web browsers do a heck of a lot more. And so we're going to be investigating that this week. We're going to be learning about what web browsers do and some of the things that you may have kind of overlooked in terms of what they do, in terms of security, in terms of privacy, which ones work better than others and why. That's going to be a lot of what we talk about in the lecture and then in some of the assignments and things we're going to be doing this week. The lecture also has a lot to say about privacy and security, about using things like VPNs. So you're going to learn a lot of stuff this week that's going to be very valuable. In fact, this is by far my favorite week of the entire class. When I rewrote this lecture, I spent a lot of time going over it and making sure there was some really cool stuff in it. And believe me, there's some really cool stuff in it. So you're going to learn a lot in the lecture. We have a couple of assignments as we usually do, right? And that's kind of standard procedure. If you have any questions about anything that we're going to be doing this week, let me know. We're also going to be in discussion as we always are, and I think we're going to do a similar thing. We're going to have a couple of options as far as where you want to post and what topic you may want to address. We're going to focus rather heavily on the issue of internet privacy and security this week, okay, in at least one, maybe two threads. Some of them are very interesting. Some of them are very eye-opening. Some of them might be kind of scary when you think about, being on the web and privacy and everything like that, but very necessary for us to talk about. So make sure you get into discussion. Make sure you look at all the different kinds of things that are there, any videos that I may provide for you, and we'll see where this week's discussion takes us. Again, anything comes up, folks, any questions, any concerns, anything like that, you guys know where to find me. All right? Thanks, folks.